Why hello you amazing beautiful people, and welcome back to another anime reaction video. So I've been reading the comments over here on G.O.T Extra, and I've been seeing that a lot of you have been asking me to react to Every Anime Studio Explained Part 2. Now we checked out Part 1 a while ago, but we never came back and reacted to Part 2. So let's do that today. Now please make sure you keep filling up these comment section with recommendations of other anime reactions you'd like to see on this channel, and make sure you like and subscribe before you do so. And also just to let you know, I'm still ill. It's only been a day since my last recording session, so my throat is still quite sore. I'm still going to be a little bit quiet, just to let all of you know. Anyway, how about I stop talking, you press that like button and that subscribe button, and we jump into my first time ever reaction to Every Anime Studio Explained, Part 2.
Mushi Productions was founded in 1961 by ex-Toei employee and legendary godfather of manga, Osamu Tezuka. They were
Also, shout out Ari Kendo. Yeah, the awesome channel that put together this video. Link to their channel is in the description.
pioneers of anime and revolutionized the medium as a whole. And the reason that Mushi Pro was even made in the first place was because Tezuka didn't enjoy his time at Toei. So he basically got a bunch of animes from Toei and was like, yo, I'll pay you double the salary if you join me, and the rest is history. The studio adapted.
That's literally the story of so many of these companies, is they just didn't like the previous company, so they started their own company. How many times has that actually happened?
A ton of Tezuka's manga series, like Astro Boy, Ashita no Joe, and Dororo. The studio was so prolific that they even worked on overseas projects like the original 1969 Frosty the Snowman Christmas special. It's hard to overstate just how much Mushi Pro really was the GOAT in their prime, and it was because they were exclusively hiring the best of the best. Apparently their interview process was so difficult that some of the best anime directors like Osamu Dezaki almost failed the test. In the late 60s to early 70s, Mushi Pro was beginning their downward slip into bankruptcy. This actually would cause them to create some of their more interesting adult-oriented works, like 1001 Nights or Cleopatra, both of which I can't show much of. Like, look at this poster of Cleopatra. Yeah! Unfortunately, these attempts to pivot into the
Let's just rewind so we can properly look at that poster of the art style is actually interesting. Were these not safe? How adult are we talking here?
Like, look at this poster of Cleopatra. Yeah! Unfortunately, these attempts to pivot into the adult animation market didn't really work, and the studio disbanded. A lot of the staff ended up creating other studios like Sunrise, Madhouse, and KyoAni in its wake. It's hard to really convey how many important people were in this one animation studio, but if you want to check out some of Mushi Pro's work, I've been told Ashita no Joe is really good, and if you want something completely different, check out Belladonna of Sadness. I mean, it is easily one of the most surrealist anime I've ever seen. Like, what am I watching here? White Fox was founded in 2007 by former OLM staff member Gakko Iwasa and other employees. They are well known for adapting popular games and light novels into anime, which their first work, Tears of Tiara, was. Their second ever work was Katanagatari, which to this day has some of the most out there art style I've ever seen. And then they released Steins Gate, which is still considered to this day to be one of the best sci-fi time travel stories. Nowadays, they're mainly known for their work on Re:Zero, which has some really great animated sequences, particularly in episode 18. This is a weird...
The same studio that did Steins Gate did Re:Zero and the animation studio? I actually didn't know that. And I guarantee you guys told me that, but I never would have put those two together. They don't seem similar in art style in any regard.
Episode because it's literally just two people talking, but White Fox did such a good job making this episode one of the best. Special shout out to episode director Kazumo Koga for elevating this scene from just two people talking into a super emotional climax. Now, they're an incredibly small studio at only 46.
It's funny, whoever that blue-haired girl is, I bet she was the one who definitely didn't want an emotional climax. Anyway.
Employees, which probably does mean that they outsource a lot of their work, but it is still impressive that they've managed to create such big IPs with such a small team.
Yeah,
and
Steins Gate Re:Zero is
they ended up founding a new studio with the help of Egg, which I'll get to later. David Production was founded by former Gonzo producers Koji Kajita and Taito Okira. They also got a ton of Studio Shaft veterans to join their studio, and you can see the work shine on Fire Force and JoJo's. They are a comparatively smaller studio, and their name is literally a reference to David and Goliath. The studio itself is well known for being super creative in its art palettes and ideas, and this has greatly helped influence their ultra-popular adaptation of the JoJo Bizarre Adventure manga franchise.
JoJo
I'm sure you've seen and heard all the JoJo memes that have come out of the anime series. In an interview with the co-director of almost every part of JoJo's, now Katsusuda, he actually explains that the memeability of the series was intentional. The JoJo graphic novels over the years have become something of an internet meme, or at least they are the source of a lot of internet memes. One thing we can do today that would have been possible 20 years ago is pick up on the established memes and see how we can pull those into the anime. In fact, that was fully intended. We wanted to make a show where a fan could watch the animated episode and then go back to the graphical novel and see their idea of JoJo was faithfully animated. Honestly, such GOAT behavior. This is easily their biggest work and a great reminder of the creativity and passion that the studio has. If you want recommendations of other good shows they've done, Cells at Work and Undead Unluck are really fun.
I haven't heard of Cells at Work, but Undead Unluck I have heard of, and I've heard that's very good too. And we also checked out some stuff from it and it looked pretty awesome. I will say, and I just want to fan the compliments of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it is one of the most absolutely gorgeous things I've ever watched. And we're still very early on into the journey.
Fun. You know what's also fun? The subscribe button. Hey look, it's glowing for Pride Month. Studio Dean was founded in 1975
Go subscribe
by former Sunrise producer
to this
Hiroshi
awesome
Hasegawa,
legend,
along with other Sunrise animators. Back in the day, Studio Dean had
I recognize
really
the picture
good
as well. Got some
reputation
Konosuba on this
for making
one.
some of the most iconic anime. Ranma One Half, Fruits Basket, and Higurashi are still talked about to this day. But nowadays, Studio Dean has a
Higurashi and Fruits Basket, are they old? Why did I not think they were?
Pretty bad reputation, and that is mostly due to their poor handling of the 7 Deadly Sins Season 3. This season is infamous for having some of the most piss-poor animation ever. I'm not even a 7 Deadly Sins fan, and I still feel disappointed just looking at this. The most hype-up fight was completely botched, and since the first 2 seasons had pretty good animation by A1 Pictures, it kind of felt like it was all Dean's fault that this shit just looked like ass. But was this really the case? Well, apparently, Aniplex, A1's parent company, was ordered to make a Season 3 pretty soon after the movie came out by Netflix, which had just flopped. Since A1 Pictures was making way more money with SAO and Fate Grand
Who's a random girl on the left there? Oh, for a second I thought she had a tail.
Order, they didn't feel the need to make another season, so Aniplex asked Studio Dean to take on the project, and I'm assuming this resulted in a rushed schedule. Unfortunately, that just seems to be the norm with a lot of anime nowadays. Studios just bite off more than they can actually chew. If you watch Dean's other work, like Konosuba, you'll see that they can still make shows with great animation cuts.
Yeah, Konosuba's
it's
gorgeous.
definitely a mixed bag. JC Staff was founded in 1986 by Tomoyuki Miyata, and they've unfortunately been branded as a sort of budget anime studio just like Dean. The main reason
I will say, when it comes to like having a mixed bag, that's not like uncommon in the world anyway, you know? It's like if you order from a restaurant, it may taste different the second time you order because a different chef is in the kitchen, you know? And maybe there's some element to that when it comes to animation studios, you know? It's not always going to be the exact same people working on the exact same projects, meaning that you're not always going to get the exact same style, right?
And for this was the release of One Punch Man Season 2. Now, look, don't get me wrong, I still enjoyed Season 2's story. I even think it has some good scenes in general. But director Shingo Natsume's ability to attract industry veterans like Yutaka Nakamura was what made Season 1 so good. And when you have to follow up one of the best animators and just an all-around insane team of animation veterans, it is easy to fall short, but also to be a bit of an asshole. It's not a secret that a lot of JC Staff anime just have pretty bad animation quality in general. In fact, I would say One Punch Man Season 2 and Food Wars are probably some of their best works. And although Psyche K is funny as hell, let's be honest, the animation, this is actually the definition of mid. I mean, probably even below mid. The show was great, but
I find it interesting because I'm not one of these people. I've said this for ages. When it comes to animation, I really do just like, it's like a second guess for me, you know? It's like, if the story is fantastic, it really doesn't bother me. And I honestly, when I watched One Punch Man Season 2, I did not see what everyone else saw. It's the same when I watch Hell's Paradise, you know? I really don't see what everyone else sees. I didn't watch it and go like, no, the animation was bad. I just enjoyed it. Like, there was no part of me. Obviously, I didn't think the animation was as good as Season 1, but in no part did I think it was bad. Yeah. I don't know. I've never been like, I don't know the word for it, but animation, like the level of quality has never sucked me out of a story.
It's definitely not because of the animation. Way of the House Husband, another example. It's literally just colored manga panels. And maybe for some people it looks good and it's fun to watch, but for me there's not enough motion. And I'm not saying that this is the fault of people who work there. You know, tons of them are probably talented, but clearly there's a reason that JC is taking so many shortcuts. And it's probably because they keep making like 3 shows in a single season. Obviously, not all of them them can look good when their time and money is split up among so many different projects. Like in summer 2023, just last year, they released 5 shows in the same season. That's insane. Again, I don't want to stereotype all of JC staff.
Isn't Eden Zero supposed to be pretty good?
It does depend on the people who are working on the project itself. It's not like they've never made amazing shows. Some of their best includes like Revolutionary Girl, Utena, Azumagodayo, Karekano, which they made with Gainax, which I talked about in my previous anime studio video. And then later in the 2000s, they were some of the first to start adapting Kadokawa light novels like Familiar of Zero and Railgun, both of which are really great. But let's be honest, overall, JC Staff does have a pretty bad stereotype, and the glove seems to fit. Studio Man Globe was founded in 2002 by former Sunrise producers Shinichiro Kobayashi and Takashi Kochiyama. They started off with a bang, releasing Samurai Champloo in 2004 as their first ever anime. Now let me ask y'all a question. What happens when you mix the amazing director of Cowboy Bebop, Shinichiro Watanabe, and the literal godfather of lo-fi hip-hop and musical icon Nujabes to make an anime? Well, you get fucking perfection. Okay, if you haven't watched Samurai Champloo, go grab yourself a magic brownie and sit your ass on the couch. Okay, it is nirvana. Manglobe is known for the amount of creative freedom that they gave their directors. Samurai Champloo, Ergo Proxy, these are great examples of what was accomplished with this.
Ergo Proxy, is that the same one that has the awesome, is it Boa opening? Is that Ergo Proxy or I think it's something else? I have heard great things about both of these, if I'm being honest. Samurai Champloo, I've heard, is awesome. I do really want to watch it one day.
Freedom. They've also adapted a few manga series like Dead Man Wonderland and The World Only God Knows.
Dead Man Wonderland was them as well? My brother's seen this. He said it was fantastic.
Which is easily the best harem anime of all time. But unfortunately, this studio didn't last forever. They accumulated an insane amount of debt, totaling up to 350 million yen, which accounting for inflation today is around $3 million. This broke the company and they ended up declaring bankruptcy in 2015. I wish I knew exactly why this happened, but there is a surprising lack of information on the topic and around this studio in general. My best guess is that the 2008 global recession severely impacted them, and the fact that Samurai Champloo was one of their biggest works but still didn't do great for DVD sales probably hurt them in the long run. I mean, just looking at...
You forget how much they rely on the DVD sales, don't you? Like, that's such an important thing.
This list of most of their DVD sales, they're not that great. Also, I hope you're finally happy, dude. Doga Kobo was found...
Wait, what was that?
Their DVD sales, they're not that great. Also, I hope you're...
Please make a video on Gen X and Studio. Please make a video. Yeah, just one guy. I've got one person that comments on every single one of my videos and asks for a My First Story reaction. And yes, you know who you are. I don't even know if you make it this far into the videos. But no one else likes the comments. In the past, I've had people comment on every single video. And their comments get like a lot of likes or like a lot of boosts. And then eventually I do the reactions. But I've had one person who's commented one video for like a year now. And no one else seems to like share it in agreement. So if other people rally behind this person, I'll do a reaction to it. But at the moment, it's not looking
finally
good.
Happy, dude. Doga Kobo was founded by former Toei employees Hideo Furusawa and Megumi Ishiguro in 1973. Most of their earlier works were more on the moe side of anime, with shows like Omaru-chan and New Game, which, one of these is definitely good anime. The other one, But nowadays, Doga Kobo is definitely more known for their recent series, like Oshinoko, really showing the talent that they have. And you might be surprised to learn that the first season of Oshinoko was actually made on a pretty tight schedule. It really is a testament to the team, and especially series director Daisuke Hiramaki, to inventively adapt the entire first volume into a single 90-minute episode instead of splitting it up into multiple 20-minute episodes. I think my favorite moment from the show has to come from Kenji Sawada though, who did this brilliant scene where Ruby finally decides that she can dance too. And it's not surprising because he's also worked on the key animation for big shows like Free Ran and Spy Family. Another star player is Kana Hirayama, who's been at Doga Kobo for a while and whose intricate supervision of over 1,000 cuts alone as the chief animation director for the first episode made sure that she turned Ai into this captivating star for us to watch. And again,
I would love to interview some of these people and just speak with them about the work they do. I have to say, Oshinoko is gorgeous. It is one of the most stunningly beautiful animated series I have watched. And I just want to say, Season 2 just goes up above and beyond as well. It really does. There's a lot of people who didn't come back to watch Season 2, and I have to say, if you liked Season 1, you missed the fuck out if you did not watch Season 2. Because in my opinion, Season 2 is twice as good as season 1.
Not surprising considering she's contributed heavily to shows like Bocchi the Rock and Tokyo Ghoul. If you're looking to see more of her great work at
I still
Dogakobo,
wanna
then
watch
check out
Tokyo
Selection
Ghoul.
Project.
I really
but in
wanna
general,
watch
I would
it.
also recommend a lot of their older works like Nozaki-kun, Plastic Memories, and GJ Club. If you want something that just came out and is also really good, Jellyfish Can't Swim is really, really good. And
I've
I'm
actually
super excited for
heard
the
that's very
new
good.
Oshinoko season as well. Studio OLM, formerly known as Oriental
Yeah, I've heard
Light and
Jellyfish
Magic,
Castle
was
is
founded in 1990 by 10 previous Studio Gallop and Obi planning employees. Just like larger anime studios, OLM has...
I love how this is always the damn case. This studio was founded by people from this studio, and that studio was founded by people from this studio, and this studio, it's just always, it's just like a constant like thing just eating itself. Like it just spreads down the freaking system. It's upside down pyramid
many
scheme.
different departments that work on a ton of different shows. The most popular of which is easily the Pokemon anime series. And this is a difficult task because you have to consistently adapt and change your art style to match the setting to setting changes and keep up with the modern technology that animation is having. You can see this change most prominently from the Pokemon season X and Y to Sun and Moon, where the art style just dramatically changed. This actually caused a lot of backlash online for viewers because they were used to seeing Ash in a certain way. But this more simple character design freed up the animation team to make even better looking action sequences. And even though they're most well known for Pokemon, they've made a ton of other anime, including like Beyblade, Komi-san, and Berserk? Yes, literally just a few months after they made the first season of Pokemon, OLM animated the 1997 adaptation of Berserk. This is still regarded by a lot of manga fans to be the best adaptation of the work, but if you don't mind CG, the Golden Age movies aren't the worst either. OLM...
I feel like I need to watch Berserk. If I do. There's movies? Are they all part of a different story? I do feel like I need to watch it. I do. Everyone says I need to read the manga. The thing is, if I do any reading, I'm never going to do it on camera. Because, like, people have said, like, oh, you should do, like, a reading stream. It won't do well. I've seen bigger content creators do it, and it doesn't do well. People always request it, but it's always, like, a vocal minority. And I've noticed a pattern with a lot of you guys, all right? You guys will, like, heavily request something, and it seems like so many people want it. And I'll react to it, and it does fucking shit. And I'm like, what? I don't understand why people are asking for it. And that's because a lot of you want something, but you've watched, like, 10 other people react to it. So you want me to react to it as well. But you don't care what my reaction is. That's the issue. And I do feel like any kind of reading stream will do that. Like I said, I've watched channels twice or 3 times my size do reading streams, and they never do that well. And they've always been heavily requested, and they never do a second one. Because they all say the same thing. They're like, it didn't do that well. I like, people seem to really want it, but it didn't do that well.
Is such a huge studio at this point that they have a ton of different internal teams and multiple different subsidiary companies in other countries to outsource their work too. In fact, they're so big that I was actually able to find their company profile on Glassdoor, a website where people can rate companies and how good they are to work for. So let's read some of these together. Good colleagues and seniors, chill environment. Okay, that's pretty cool. Overworked employees, poor work-life balance. The next one is as bad as Mappa, terrible working conditions, non-ethical hours, terrible HR, low pay, disrespectful employers. And those are just the pros.
Those are the pros.
Those gotta be good. Let's see. Deadline based, so you have absolutely no choice but to finish work even if it takes the whole night. No overtime pay even though working past 9 p.m. almost every day. Worst overtime was until 2 days, more than 24 hours and no extra pay whatsoever. And overtime past 2 a.m. happens every month. Toxic managers, guilt-tripping staff when you're unable to finish work or wanting to extend time, feels inhumane. Your 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. is very rare, feels like it's impossible. Well, that's kind of just depressing. Okay. Clover.
I do want to say that any kind of... I honestly don't care what country it is and different cultures and that sort of stuff. I have to say, when it comes to human beings, forcing them to work, like... We are all only on this planet once, you know? All of us. I know people believe in different things across the globe, but regardless of what you believe in, we are all on this planet once, in this timeline, in this body, once, right? So why force people to not enjoy their lives? Why not give anyone any free time? Do you think every person wants to spend every waking second of their life behind a desk in an office, working or whatever? No. You don't live to work. You work to live. So it always sucks when you hear stories like that.
Works used to be a separate studio within A1 Pictures, but they've since
Oh.
rebranded to their own studio in 2018. Cloverworks is known for their character expressiveness and creative visuals in shows like Bocchi the Rock, Spy Family, and Windbreaker, which just came out this spring season and has some of the best fight sequences I've ever seen.
I've heard Windbreaker's
Most of
good
their works
too.
are romances and slice of life shows with a heavy emphasis on
And
comedy.
I
However,
can
as
tell
with
you right
many
now,
amazing studios,
my dress
from
up-
what I've heard, they have a
My Dress Up Darling, very good as well.
pretty bad scheduling problem. In
Oh, God
2021,
damn it,
while
why?
Cloverworks was getting a team ready for their 2022 lineup of anime, Chief Animation Director Kiminori Ito started posting Twitter complaints about the schedule, even going as far as to say, "It's too painful, death." This is someone who has worked on some of the biggest shows in the past,
Fucking hell,
like
man.
Chainsaw Man and Gintama. And at Cloverworks, he worked on Tokyo 24th Ward and Horimiya. Unfortunately, this kind of
So
insane
Sword Art
production
Online on
schedule
his
affects
resume as
everyone
well,
in the
though.
anime studio, even as someone as talented and high up as Ito. Cloverworks is also very well known for their massive fumbling of Promised Neverland Season 2. Now, I'm going to get a little speculative here and say that the reason that Promised Neverland Season 2 was so rushed and completely ruined the manga ending was because they were just too booked as a studio to keep making new seasons, or because they had an insanely tight production schedule that just didn't allow for more continued seasons. But
I'm a little
that's
bit
just a
worried. I'm
theory.
gonna look down here.
The 8-bit was founded in
I really don't want any spoilers for Promised Neverland. I don't know about it, but I have heard it's good. Apart from its ending, it's quite famous.
2008 by former Satellite
I've heard of
members
it. Is
and
that
is
Blue
now a
Lock?
subsidiary of Bandai Namco Filmworks, formerly known as Sunrise. They used to be known for working on all those old school
I have heard
battle
Blue
hero
Lock is
shows like
great,
Infinite
but
Stratos,
has
which
lost
was
a
their
bit of his
first work.
love
If you were
recently.
a horny middle school teenager in 2013 like I was, then you probably watched a lot of their shows. Nowadays, they are pretty much exclusive
A horny middle school teenager? Nah, that doesn't sound like any of us. Now, horny adults. Nah, that doesn't sound like any of us.
exclusively known for their work
Definitely
on
no
That
horny
Time I
here.
Got Reincarnated as a Slime and Blue Lock, which both have become super popular in their own right. 8-bit is
True.
pretty well known to have
Slime is
decent
massive these
animation
days.
sometimes, but usually is not the most consistent. When they spend the budget to make their big scenes hit, the show often looks great, even amazing at times. They also love using CGI because it is one of the studio's specialties, and this can be a good cost-saving measure if used properly, but can also be very jarring for a lot of viewers. But disregarding the CG moments, there's still a lot of times, especially in Blue Lock, where characters will just be talking and things kind of look like off. And while the first few episodes started off super strong, towards the end of the show, things really started looking worse and worse, with some of these proportions and shots just looking really weird. And as we've seen time and time again, this is probably an issue related to the scheduling of the production itself. It's hard to emphasize just how important time, money, and talent all contribute to an anime success. However, I've been watching Slime Season 4, and so far the animation quality has been pretty decent. Hopefully 8-bit gives the same amount of time for Blue Lock, and especially its U20 arc, to cook, because the manga they have to adapt is straight fire from here on out. PA Works was founded in
Ah, dear. I've heard Blue Lock fumbled there a little bit. I also want to say, as much as I wasn't the hugest fan of the latest season of Slime, in terms of animation, that anime fucking cooks. Slime looks gorgeous every episode.
in 2000 by ex-Production IG member Kenji Horikawa. Apparently, when he first started the studio, he was broke, so he borrowed an abandoned hospital building and turned it into a studio, which that's actually kind of fire. They were especially popular
kinda
in
cool,
the
actually, yeah.
2010s with shows like Angel Beats, Charlotte, and another. Legendary composer and writer Jun Maeda also worked on a ton of
I kind of love that he said Angel Beats and another, just like and another show I've forgotten the name of.
PA Works projects, making music, and even screenwriting for Angel Beats and Charlotte. They seem to always deliver with consistent and great animation.
Angel
and
Beats is
even
very
to
good.
this day, they're continuing to make great shows like Skippin' Loafer or Akiba Maid War. They have a very distinctive visual style that really emphasizes their amazing background art, and personally, I love it. They've also made some really insightful anime too, like Shirobako, which is literally about how anime is made, which if you're watching this might interest you. Ironically though, PA Works has had some PR problems related to employee dissatisfaction, but it's a little complicated, so I'm going to simplify it a bit. Traditionally, animation is first storyboarded and then someone creates the keyframes of that animation. Then in-betweeners will go in to fill the
Yeah.
motion between keyframes, creating the smooth sequence that we see as an animation. Since most animators only get paid per drawing and not per hour, this can lead to some less than ideal pay. An in-betweener for PA Works posted on Twitter that they were getting paid a really poor wage, but it's not so much the case that PA Works pays poorly. In fact, they actually pay above the average compared to most animation studios. It's more of a problem that the industry as a whole is pretty broken and kind of screws over in-betweeners. These guys are basically the unsung heroes of the anime industry because on average they earn around 200 yen per drawing, which is less than $2. Sometimes these drawings can take up to an hour, but you still get paid the same amount per drawing. PA Works is better than the industry standard at around 220 yen per drawing. That still kind of sucks. But it's important to understand that this isn't usually the fault of the animation studio itself. Here is a graph showing the annual profits of the anime industry. These small yellow bars represent the portion that the anime studios actually receive. Because these production committees are the ones funding anime and they hold the IP, anime studios don't see any of the money, the production committees do. And this leads to the lack of funds for a lot of animators, especially ones that are just starting out and are in-betweeners. But anyway, that's a
overall, it really is a completely fucked system. It is utterly ridiculous, especially considering how big anime is these days. You know, there's no excuse for this anymore. Anime these days is massive, you know? Even in the short space of 2 years that I have become a fan and watched anime, I feel like it's grown from when I started to now. It constantly gets bigger and bigger. It is becoming more accepted around the world. More people of adult age are starting to like watch it and understand. Because I was the same. I didn't watch anime over 2 years ago because I thought anime was for kids. You know? I was like, it's cartoons. And that's literally why I was like not into it. And now, as someone who's on the other end of that, someone who's now watched like, what, 80 anime or something, I can definitely say I was very wrong. And it feels like a lot of the world is waking up and understanding that they were wrong too about those sort of opinions and how big anime is and how massive it is and how it fills up so many spaces when like popular anime has new episodes. The fact that there are still issues like this is insane.
Whole nother discussion. My personal favorite PA Works anime has to be their movie Maquia. It is genuinely one of the most underrated anime films of all time. Like, I'm gonna be real, I don't usually cry when watching anime anime movies, but for some reason, when I watched Maquia, the waterworks, that shit went crazy. If you enjoy tearjerkers, 100% check that out. Production IG was...
Is Maquia... I've seen Maquia. When the promised flower blooms. I've seen this one. Is this the one? I don't want to spoil it, but is this the one that opens with the like, I feel like it is, right? It's the one that opens with the sort of watery sky base. You know, far away from everything. You know what I'm saying? The watery... There'll be a random cut there. I just have to go let someone in the house. Yeah, so... I can't remember, I don't know how to describe it without giving away spoilers. So I'm basically going to say, is it the one with the ending that I hated? If you watch my reaction to it, you know what I mean. And the opening is some sort of weird water elf kingdom with some dragons. There you go. It's not really spoilers, but I did not like the ending. I did not like the ending. If that's what I'm talking about, very disappointing ending. However, in terms of animation, gorgeous.
To be real, I don't usually cry when watching anime anime movies, but for some reason, when I watched Maquia, the waterworks, that shit went crazy. If you enjoy tearjerkers, 100% check that out. Production IG was founded in 1987 by Mitsushita Ishikawa and Takayuki Goto. IG has made some of the biggest and most influential anime of all time, and I think these amazing works are partly due to their founding ideals.
Good. What anime is
Co-founder
that?
Ishikawa said in an interview that when I started IG in 1987, anime was thought as an extension of manga. Anime had no importance of its own. I wanted to make an anime feature film that stood on its own without manga. And if we're talking about IG, we have to talk about Mamoru Oshii, one of the best anime directors of our time. With his breakout movie Patlabor, he immediately solidified himself as a big name in the industry, and then he directed Ghost in the Shell, which literally helped shape the genre of cyberpunk, serving as a core inspiration to dystopian movies like The Matrix. This movie was a global phenomenon, and helped bring anime in general to the West. Not only that, in the last few years, IG has produced Haikyuu and single-handedly changed Japanese men's volleyball, as tons of people are now more interested in the sport. IG also owns Wit Studio as a subsidiary, which has produced popular shows like Attack on Titan and Vinland Saga Season 1. And recently...
Yeah, you guys may have heard of them. You guys have definitely heard of it.
Recently, IG's taken on a more interesting role in the anime industry. Instead of subcontracting like most other studios, they started being a prime
number 8,
contractor
Heavenly
in financing
Delusion.
other anime production. Studio Pierrot was founded in 1972 by Yuji Nunokawa, and
Well, I
they're
recognize
responsible for
those
some
two
of the
faces.
biggest anime ever released. Their catalog includes shows like Naruto, Bleach, Black Clover, all of which are shonen mega hits in their
do
own
need to
right.
watch Black
Their first
Clover
ever
one
project
day,
was
man.
an adaptation of The Wonderful
We're
Adventures of
absolutely gonna be
Nils,
watching Bleach
which
one
is a
day.
Swedish novel. Interesting. But I would say their breakout hit was Urusei Yatsura, directed by Mamoru Oshii, of which they did the first 100 or so episodes. This anime was a pioneer in the romantic comedy genre, and then they released Yu Yu Hakusho a decade later, which to this day has one of the best tournament arcs of all time. Yu Yu Hakusho was directed by Noriyuki
Torment
Abe,
arc?
who
What's a
is on
torment
an
arc?
insane amount of
That's the
projects
first
at
time I've
Video.
ever heard
He
that
also
before.
helped direct Tokyo Mew Mew, Great Teacher Onizuka, and Bleach. Because Pierrot is such a big studio, they
heard
have a
GTO
ton
is
of
good
different
as well.
teams. But if I'm going to shout out someone, I definitely want to shout out Hiroyuki Yamashita for doing such amazing work on both Naruto and
I don't wanna
Bleach
look.
Thousand Year Blood
I don't
War,
wanna look.
specifically episode
look over there.
6,
Is that Bleach?
where he was involved in storyboarding, direction, and animation. And this shit looks amazing. Thankfully, it also looks like Studio Pierrot is trying to improve their employee well-being and working conditions in the industry. The managing director of Pierrot, Kyoto Itsumi, said that humans, not computers, create anime. So if those humans become exhausted, there's nothing we can do. Such a way of creating things is not sustainable in the long run.
Love
That's
that.
why since I joined Pierrot, we've made significant revisions to salaries and even retroactively increased overtime pay by 20%. I believe
Nice.
we've dedicated to improving working conditions. This is a great sign in the anime industry,
Fuck
and
yes,
I hope
it
more
is, it
studios
is.
follow in their footsteps.
It is. It 100% is. The content that we consume, these people create, they deserve to be treated like the fucking superheroes they are, man.
Studio Bind was founded in 2018 as a joint
Wow.
venture by Egg Firm and White
Wow.
Fox. The studio was originally just made for
Wow.
Mushoku Tensei, but recently they've made another show, Onimai, and are coming out with new shows in 2025. Apparently,
Oh.
Mushoku Tensei was greenlit all the way back in 2016, but because it had such a long pre-production process, probably because of the insane quality, it took a while for it to release. In fact, the quality of season 1 was so good that people are starting to question the currently airing season of Mushoku Tensei, as a lot of its core staff has since left the production. A lot of people are saying that it just doesn't.
What the, man, there's really no pleasing people. Is there a drop-off in season 2? I'm gonna be real. I did not notice any drop-off, not even the slightest in season 2. Mushoku Tensei, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, is utterly fucking gorgeous. It is stunningly gorgeous.
Doesn't look as good. However, I still think that Mushoku Tensei Season 2 has some great cuts, and
I
that is
agree.
of course due to the wonderful work of Kyukawa. Although he was simply a key animator in the first season, he definitely had his hand in making some of the best moments in the show. With episode 22, he has just flexed his skills as an episode director for the first time, and Jesus Christ, what an amazing directorial debut. I mean, this
Yeah.
episode had some of the best action sequences I've ever
Yeah,
seen, and the
yeah,
VFX
yeah,
that the team
facts.
chose to use was
Facts,
really
all
incredible.
facts, all
Kyukawa
facts.
is a newer face in the industry, but just like Studio Bind, I have high
25.
hopes for their future projects.
Damn.
Silverlink was founded in 2007 by Hayato Kaneko. Nowadays, most
Wait, what? Oh, okay.
anime from them involved Aonuma as a director or co-director. They're well known for making slice of life shows like Nonon Biori and some of the Fate series spin-offs, or at least I think that's what this is. I'm gonna be honest, I know nothing about Fate, and I'm definitely not learning for this video. They've made a ton of anime.
Hey, you need to learn about Fate. To be honest, I've seen Fate. I still don't really know. Nah, I'm joking. I know. No, I don't know anything. That does kind of look like a Fate spinoff. It does. Fate. I say it every time. I'm gonna say it right now, man. Fate has some of the best damn fights you've ever
That are
seen.
some of my personal favorites. I have fond memories of watching Baka and Test, Wadamode, and Kokoro Connect, which is still one of my favorite anime to this day.
Never heard of
I
any of these.
love Kokoro Connect, which is what makes this next part so sad. A big controversy at Silverlink was the fact that voice actor Mitsuhiro Ichiki was apparently tricked into auditioning for a role in the anime Kokoro Connect. This audition was set up by a producer of the show, and apparently the entire point of it was to make Ichiki say sus things that could be remixed into something weird out of context. Ichiki then had to sit through a PR event for the show where they played his out of context clips and revealed that he didn't even get the role because the role for this show never even existed. I don't know what kind of twisted psychopath comes up with a plan like this, but once the story got out there was understandably a ton of outrage. People started boycotting the anime and the studio itself, and they eventually had to issue an official apology. It sucks.
What? I'm really confused. They tricked the guy into auditioning for a role that wasn't even a real role. They got him to say sus stuff just so they could play it back as a joke at a meeting. Was that a prank then? Is that what they did to him? Did I misinterpret something there? If they did, that's really fucked
because
up.
I really do love Kokoro Connect, especially since the show is literally about overcoming personal trauma with the help of your friends, which is what makes the situation all the more ironic. Silver Link also has the reputation of not having the greatest animation, with shows like Death March really just being super boring and derivative, but they've also made good stuff like the aforementioned Kokoro Connect, Mitsuboshi Colors, and My Next Life as a Villainess. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. There's still a ton of anime studios I left out. Maybe I'll do another one if this reaches 10k likes. Anyway, peace.
There's another one? There's another one? How many likes did this end up reaching? I literally just scrolled down to the comment section to see if there was like a post for another one or something like that. I don't think he ever did a part 3, but he's definitely met the like quota. And the top comment on the video says, literally every anime studio backstory begins with was founded by after splitting from Toei and Sunrise Animations. Which honestly does kind of feel like that. I'm not gonna lie. It feels like that's what my boy was saying every single time. What other videos does he have these days? Every anime genre explained in 10 minutes. Every anime power. The Pokemon fan manga. When the animators quit. What a $250 million animation looks like. And that's Arcane. Arcane is just gorgeous. Season 2 was brilliant. And then, honestly, he does a lot of videos. Interesting. So Adi Kendo, the person who makes these videos, has 63,000 subscribers. 66 videos. Which, by the way, is fantastic. It looks like 1,000 subscribers per video, roughly, right? Stop uploading videos now, and the video do very well. Deserves way more love. I'm gonna be real, man. It deserves absolutely way more love. This guy, if this person sticks at it, keeps making videos like this, they will 100% continue to grow. Their quality of their videos and information is very good. You can see a popularity and a sought after with this sort of content. I hope Adi Kendo sticks with it. Maybe comes up with like a schedule and sticks with it a little bit more, because I guarantee this is a channel that could grow. It really is. I mean, look, they're fairly new. They haven't even made that many videos, and they've already reached 63,000 subscribers. You have any idea how crazy it is to only publish 66 videos and reach that many subscribers? You know, nearly averaging 1,000 subscribers per video of growth is mind-blowing. The guy should feel very, 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 very proud of that. So yeah, and the videos are really entertaining and enjoyable. It's nice learning about all of these studios, you know, as someone who doesn't know anything about them. It's kind of nice seeing the behind the scenes, which studios are a bit more ethically nicer, you know, do a lot more for their staff and have these like histories and how they histories from like where they come from like different other studios and the branches off and the breakaways and that sort of stuff. It's fun, and it's nice learning a little bit more about it, you know, because there's a lot out there and like it's nice learning. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm still not very well. I hope you enjoyed this reaction regardless. All of you have been asking for it for ages, so here it is. Let me know what you want me to check out next. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, my friends, you will see me in the next video.